Okay, so you don't have a lot of time or experience with Google Ads, but you want to manage it yourself. Well, I have a really simple set of tactics and strategies and thoughts here on how to manage your account in a very simple way, sort of a systemized approach. So, number one is going to be define your goals. Make sure you're super clear and you're realistic about the goals that you have for using Google Ads to achieve those goals, right? So, whether that is new customer growth in terms of gross profit, net sales, et cetera, or just maybe you don't have the best tracking for that. Maybe you're just looking at conversion value. Okay, maybe it's lead volume. Maybe it is EOs, qualified leads, and sales that are coming through from a service or lead generation aspect. Make sure that you're really, really clear about those goals and that you're very consistent with them as best you can, because you don't want to be changing your goals every other day at a whim. Something personally happens and then you want to, raise your CPA to 2x what it was before. You want to be careful about these. You want to be cautious. So number two is going to be set reasonable expectations. Yes, I said it twice because this is so vital. Make sure they're reasonable. Low amounts of data equals very slow optimizations. That's just a reality. But folks, if we have a lot of data very quickly, we can optimize very quickly. If we don't have a lot of data that we're trying to optimize with that, we're going to be doing a lot of guessing and we're going to think we're doing the right thing. We could actually be ending up running in circles or shooting ourselves in the foot. So we don't want to do that. Keep also in mind that smart bidding usually needs a decent amount of conversions. In a lot of cases, it's going to be like 30 conversions a month in order for it to do a good job predicting conversion rates for a particular searcher. So this is something also to keep in mind, obviously, for structures and any kind of strategies. Non-Google ads. I'm going to start here. So this is a conversion rate optimization, pricing strategy, and basket optimizations, retention strategy, social proof, cheaper forms of marketing, whether that's like organic social or organic search. Make sure you're really spending a lot of time and effort in that when you don't have a lot of budget relative to your cost per clicks, average order values, cost per acquisition, et cetera, because they are cheaper for you. And it's a good way to really build some brand awareness, especially if you're focusing on leveraging your unique selling proposition. This is really, really vital when you're a smaller business or you don't have a lot of budget to spend on Google Ads to build the brand awareness. To use those cheaper options to build that. Google Ads will also be helped in those efforts. Make sure Google Ads specifically that you are pulling the major levers. Now, a lot of people focus on a lot of different tactics that come out there on LinkedIn or YouTube. Tactics are great, but they're also really addicting and they may not actually be specific enough for your particular business model or your business objectives. So you've got to sometimes get a little bit more creative than that and focus in on just really high level strategies that are appropriate for you. Those major levers, in my experience, tend to be business intelligence, using what you know about your customer base and your products, and aligning the tool that is Google Ads to most appropriately get you to those goals, whether that's structurally, whether that's which products to advertise using certain types of ad campaigns or ad types, what keywords you go after, et cetera, what keywords or searches you do not go after using negatives. Those are all going to play a big part. So major lever, business, using your business intelligence to inform structure, bidding, budgets, targeting and exclusions, and ad types. Focus your budget. I cannot stress this enough. The less money that you have, again, relative to auction CPCs, conversion rates, average order values, and cost per acquisitions, this is going to equal the importance or the vitality of IDing and identifying the opportunity pockets in your account within your data. So whether that is like high customer lifetime value geographies, devices, et cetera, keywords, search terms rather, those are super important. You've really got to focus your budget on the areas of your account or the areas of your data that are going to be most likely to get you to achieve the goals that you have for the business. So focus your budget. Don't test everything at once. Maybe avoid taking these major swings at things within your optimizations. It's probably not a good fit if you don't have a lot of time to manage the account, you don't have a lot of experience, or you don't have a lot of data flowing through your account on a 30-day basis or so. Data analysis skills, another piece of that. So if you are not very versed in data analysis, you got to be careful making a lot of optimizations or doing things like manual bidding. Reason being is because someone like myself, who's a professional, we're going to bring a certain level of intuition that we have gained over years of doing this across multiple industries and businesses, that we're going to bring that intuition when we're looking at the data, and that's going to inform some of our hypotheses. You're not going to really have that if you've only been doing Google Ads for your own business or just a very few amount of your businesses. So just keep that in mind. Your data analysis skills are going to determine what kind of strategies and tactics you can utilize fully. If you're not really well versed in data analysis, you got to keep things a little bit more simple, and you got to keep your structure a little bit more consolidated. Now, also, this plays into slower optimizations. If your sample sizes or the amount of data that you have is not very big, not very large. In that case, it's going to mean slow optimizations. As I mentioned earlier, if you don't have a lot of data, it is going to be a little bit of a slog sometimes, especially down seasons, if that's applicable for your business. There's going to be times where you can't be going in there and making optimizations every week, or even maybe twice a week. Maybe it's just once a month you go in there, make some start some major tests, make a few tweaks here and there, and then let it be. I know that can be tough, especially when you don't have a lot of business going on, you're thinking a lot, and you're really smart, and you're trying to figure out what are the little things we can do. You can end up shooting yourself in the foot sometimes if you don't have a lot of data, because you're essentially just going to be guessing, and that may or may not work out for you. Probably not going to be ideal. Make sure that you're testing your hypotheses carefully. As I mentioned, no big swings, small tests. Now, tactically, everyone loves the tactics, as I mentioned. Really quick, I would say in a nutshell, non-Google Ads efforts, this is like your 80-20 list, if you will, non-Google Ads efforts that we talked about, like conversion rate optimization, maximizing your branded search campaigns, whether it's impression share and or budget. Make sure you're not too limited there. Focusing your spend on your best performing, whatever it is, products, services, target locations, keywords. Focus your budget on the areas of your account that are delivering you the results that you need based on your business goals and your business type. This is very, very, very important. So really focus the budget on those areas. Make sure also to really put a lot of time into exclusions, whether that's upfront. You just take a weekend and make giant negative keyword lists, though be careful with that. You want to usually try to make sure that you are not paying unnecessarily. So this is important, especially if your cost per clicks are really high. Do the work upfront and ongoing to make sure that you're not just wasting money later. This seems obvious, but often is something that you just get so excited to launch your Google Ads that you don't put enough time into. I'd highly recommend doing that. Remarketing, you already paid for the click potentially. Don't just lose them to somebody else when the customer is not ready to buy right away, which in a lot of businesses will not be the case. Some people will need to do some more research. They're going to leave your site after that initial ad click. Don't lose them by just giving up. Go ahead and try some, display or YouTube, et cetera, type of remarketing campaigns to try to get that user back to buy from you. Make sure you're also qualifying the clicks. And what I mean by that is your ad copy is sort of weeding out or dissuading people that are likely not going to be qualified. If you have very generic ad copy, you might be attracting and paying for a lot of clicks to someone that was very unlikely to buy, or they just weren't really clear what you were offering. So they clicked to figure it out. And it was very obvious that you're not what they're looking for. Maybe your pricing is too high. This is more relevant, again, for search ads, especially because they're not going to see the price unless you put that in the ads. And that's my point. If you have a very high price point, maybe relative to your competitors, you might want to try including that in some of your headlines, just as an example. So make sure you're qualifying the clicks to help your cost per clicks not be spent, or your click costs to be spent on people that are not likely to be relevant or buyers. Quality scores also plays a part in this. Make sure that your quality scores are as high as you can possibly get them. Now, sometimes this is a slog and it takes a long period of time to do this, and it's hard to notice these things over time, but do try to put some effort into optimizing your quality scores. And then that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you in the next video.